Hi there and welcome to the channel. So today's video is just going to feature one of my favourite items in my collection, and that is the Elder Scrolls Anthology. As I've stated before, the Elder Scrolls is one of my favourite series of all time. And I particularly like this little collection because it includes all the mainline games so far. So we've got Arena, Daggerfall, Morrowind, Oblivion and Skyrim. Morrowind was the first game I played in the Elder Scrolls series, but the PC I had at the time could barely run it, so I didn't put too much time into it. So Oblivion was the one that really took hold of me and got me into this series. I remember being blown away by the graphics at the time, and the amazing world and the attention to detail. Skyrim is the game that I've put the most time into, just because Bethesda re-released it about 30 times. But I don't complain. So the purpose of this video really is just to show off this little anthology, as well as provide some background information on the history of the Elder Scrolls series. We'll also feature some gameplay trailers that came with the games. I'll try not to talk too much, but I'll let the video do the talking. I'd like it to be almost like a walkthrough time, from the original game Arena all the way up to the latest release of Skyrim. So yeah, without further ado, let's just dive right in. So first up, we have the Elder Scrolls Arena, which was released in 1994. I was 1 year old, so as you can imagine I would have been a little bit too young to play this game, but that hasn't stopped me in recent years going back and playing them, mainly because you can get the first and second games for free on the Bethesda site, so I'd highly recommend checking that out if you want to play these games. Arena was one of the first games that was noted for having a realistic day and night cycle, where shops would shut at night and people would clear the streets. It also boasted an enormous world, full of interactive NPCs, enemies, and quests. The game Arena was originally not to be an RPG, but when the developers realised that the side quests became more fun than the actual main quest, that's when they added the RPG elements. Arena obviously wouldn't have suited, an RPG, so then they added to the title the Elder Scrolls. So next up we have the Elder Scrolls 2 Daggerfall, which released 2 years later in 1996. Like other Elder Scrolls games, Daggerfall takes place in Tamriel, and the player can travel between the provinces of High Rock and Hammerfell. Like all Elder Scrolls games though, the player doesn't have to follow specific quest lines or assume a specific character role. They can play the game how they want to. The game features over 15,000 cities, towns and villages, so the character will not run out of things to explore. It also adds an improved combat system and the buying of houses, the crafting of armour and the creating spells. Your player can also become vampires, werewolves or vereboars. It's important to note the actual scale of these games. Although they are procedurally generated, to travel across the maps in these games would take real-time weeks. They're the size of countries, so although not as detailed as more modern Elder Scrolls games, they're far larger. And then we have the Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind, which released in 2002 and was the first Elder Scrolls game to feature on console, the original Xbox. As I stated, I didn't put too much time into this game because my PC struggled to run it at the time, but I think it's fair to say that I missed out because Morrowind is considered one of the best Elder Scrolls games. It really upped the scale of these games, from the original 2D up to the beautiful 3D and graphics that were just incredible for their time. By the year 2005 it sold 4 million copies and was announced as Game of the Year. I think what many people might prefer with this game, say over the likes of Skyrim, is the depth and the complexity of the quests, and the lack of hand-holding. And I think what they might prefer over the likes of Oblivion is the world, with Oblivion having more of a medieval feel to it. Morrowind has a beautiful fantasy theme to it. Next up, we have my favourite of the series, the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion, which was released in 2006 on PC and Xbox, and a year later was released on PS3. So prior to playing Oblivion, I'd almost completely forgotten about Morrowind, to be honest, but I got an Xbox 360 and I was playing Fallout 3 religiously. I loved the game. But everyone kept telling me, oh, Fallout 3 is just Oblivion with guns. It's just Oblivion with guns. And to be honest, that sounded quite good because I preferred medieval fantasy type games. So with my leftover birthday money, my mum helped me buy Oblivion. And when it came, I just spent weeks and weeks and weeks wandering around in Cyrodiil. So I got the Game of the Year edition, and I remember playing the Shivering Isles, and to this day I'd argue that the Shivering Isles is one of the best expansion passes of all time. That added so much to the game. So the overall plot pretty much is the Cult of the Mythic Dawn are opening up Oblivion gates all over Cyrodiil. These Oblivion gates are portals to the realm of Oblivion, where the Daedra reside, which will mean the impending doom of Cyrodiil. And last up, we have a game which needs no introduction, and that's the Elder Scrolls 5 Skyrim. I can still remember that night on 11/11/11 at midnight launch at my local game shop, where I spent an absolute fortune on the enormous collector's edition with the Alduin statue. It was one of the best nights of my life, I think. The first ever midnight launch for a game. I took weeks off work. I had one of my first jobs, and I'd only just started. But I didn't care. I spent 24 hours non-stop just playing this game, and my parents thought I was insane. Skyrim means so much to so many people. It basically made the Elder Scrolls one of the best known series in the world. It has unlimited replayability, beautiful world, so many NPCs and quests. Although probably a little bit simpler than other games, but I think it could be forgiven for how good the game actually is, and how timeless it's become. So last up in this anthology, we have all the maps for the various games in the series. Dialect Bay with Daggerfall from High Rock. And then we have Vardenfell from the Morrowind game. We have the full map of Tamriel, Skyrim, Hammerfell, High Rock, the Somerset Isles, Cyrodiil, Valenwood, Elsewhere, Blackmarsh, Morrowind, with Vardenfell at the top. Finally, we have the province of Cyrodiil. Cyrodiil is one of my favourite maps, just due to the variety and the really awesome detailed cities. We have Kvatch, which gets destroyed, Anvil on the Beach, one of my favourites, Bruma, one of my other favourites, the first city that I visited when I first played Oblivion for the first time, Shadenhall, a really beautiful city as well, Bravo. Yeah, I really enjoyed the map that is Cyrodiil and the variety that it had. So looking back, we have Skyrim, Oblivion, Morrowind, Daggerfall, and Arena. And that concludes my unboxing video for the Elder Scrolls Anthology. Well, thanks for checking out the video. If you're new to the channel, please feel free to like and subscribe. I also have a playlist called Tales in Tamriel, in which we delve deep into the lore of the Elder Scrolls by reading various books from the series. Apologies for my voice, it's not what it usually is, it seems to be a little bit raspier than usual, but we make do. So thanks again, until next time, see ya.